Join me as you and I and you take a journey to become better writers together and geek out.
Howdy ho, neighbors. Look at this. Everybody's up and talking and having fun. There was stuff happening in the green room that we didn't share with you guys, but hey, you're here now.
All right, so let's talk about the climate for which Metal Gear Solid 5 arises from.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
I was waiting for it.
Wait, what? Here, I'm about to pull up my Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? What? What?
Hi, Shad.
Shen's
Tony, you're
already
on
saying
mute.
hi. Shen is quick.
Toby, you're on mute.
Hey, Shen, how you doing? Tony, you're on mute.
He was muted because he started talking about his hate for Kojima and all the games that he's made in recent days. He remembers Metal Gear Survive.
I just remember plugging into the other slot. I want the other howl. That was also an awesome intro. I love that. I love that. I felt Rockstar meets Twilight Zone.
Dude, man, it's perfect. And we can all thank our friend Nat down there because he created it.
Thank you.
He put it together. He put it up, and it fits this crazy show we call the Written Writ.
Well, man, it's my first time on the show. So what do we do, guys?
Oh, that's right.
Tell me, I'm a newbie over here. I'm a rookie.
Bites.
Oh yeah, I've only been on Apple Bites. You guys bite me on Apple. There we go.
I'm the Written Writ. We just hang out, geek out, have fun, and talk about geekdom, geekery, geeky people
With metal cups.
Exactly. You know,
Well, that's a
Bill.
Wild Bill's Cup. We got to promote our friends, right? Right. That's what we do. We promote friends.
Wild Bill.
I think they need a Wild Bill NFT.
I got it. Listen. This is the promotion right here. So for $1, you too can get a cold cup from Wild Bill. No.
Dude, that's a deal and a half.
I think
I always forget to take this thing with me so I can actually have my drinks.
Listen. It is the best cup to have cold beverages. We're saying cold beverages because it's a wide variety of cold beverages that you can have in this cup. Put it in the freezer, chill it, pull it out, pour it in. There you're good. Nice hot day beat. Wild Bills.
Exactly. Wild Bills. That's what I'm drinking. Yeah, okay.
He is drinking a soft drink.
Yeah.
Or a hard drink. It is a
it's all hard. I mean, yeah, okay.
He's having a middle drink.
It's a Middle Earth drink.
Mid-Earth.
So
All right,
who's
guys,
excited
we
about the new
are
Lord of the
all over
Rings?
the place right now.
Nobody. The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I cannot wait to hate watch that. It's gonna be great.
Oh, Game of Thrones also. Game of Thrones prequel also.
If you start going down
Nah,
another
I'm not
couple
even gonna
of
hate watch
tirade,
Game
we
of
are
Thrones after
we
that.
aren't gonna let you watch.
I'm just excited for the content because if you go back to the 90s, we were not getting any of this content.
No.
We weren't getting any of this stuff. So we have content to hate that's coming out. And I'm excited because it's like, I know what? This is all a pipe dream. Like we wouldn't have a Dungeons and Dragons movie. We wouldn't have fantasy. Like it would have been like more cop shows.
Well, in all fairness, we had a Dungeons
we
and
need any
Dragons
of it?
movie.
We have.
We
Listen,
had
there
a
was
Dungeons and
Dungeons and
Dragons
Dragons
movie in the
movie.
90s.
Yeah, with the Wayans.
Listen, do we need more podcasts? We have so many of them. Do we need do we need more Wild Bill Cups? We have so many of them. Yes, excuse me,
Dude.
Pardon me. Yes, I freaking need it.
All right, less than 5 minutes. Let's go.
You get one
right.
per episode.
Everybody gets one.
You
Oh,
said
yeah.
the word. Wait, no, we need to get the Pee Wee Herman
The
thing.
Pee Wee Herman thing. That is my. But you know, no. Yes, I freaking need it. I need the content. I need it all. I'm just excited because we talked a lot about this. I remember in high school.
Yeah.
In high school, we talked about like, damn, it will be so good in the fan cast, and I'm just excited to see this content now being made, and it kind of gives a lot of some of those indies like hope of like one day we're gonna see our content up there with the way we can prepare it and the way that studios are trying to consume it and make it.
It's bastardized content that they've worked their whole life on.
I want the Luke
Let's get a
Schaefer
bunch of
movie.
people.
The
I want the
Lucy-
Lou Schaefer movie. That's gonna be a horror movie because he's gonna be wearing that mask in that movie.
It's gonna be infamous. Hey, this
Pretty
mask
sure I
is very
saw
much
Lou
inspired by
Schaefer in,
Kojima, man.
Oh God.
I'm pretty sure I saw Lou Schaefer in
Psycho
what was
Mantis
it?
forever.
Purge. The Purge. There we go. I remember
Thank
seeing
you.
Lou in the Purge.
It was
Nah, you
loosely
know what?
based on a manifesto that I. Nah, never mind.
I agree
Yo,
with you. all.
nah, about Kojima, I gotta defend him. He's a great filmmaker. Whoops, I mean video game creator.
Damn.
I just
Man,
like
you
when they.
still
I mean, I
put
gotta hit it.
Kojima
It's
up
like
there.
Dude, I like
Yo,
when they
I was done with
accidentally.
4, man. That was a movie. It wasn't even a game. It was like 20 minutes a game and like an hour of unskippable FMV the whole game. I was done.
But you gotta think
Let-
about it. It's like
let me
games-
remind you,
done.
survival exists.
Oh, I
Metal
don't
Gear
know.
Survival exists.
Yeah, I'm not playing that. No, I like Revengeance. Revengeance was awesome. That was it. You know, make more like Revengeance. Do it
gotta
just
think
straight up
about it.
There
Uh,
will
dumb,
be
stupid, killing people left and right. That's all I want, man. I don't,
But you gotta think about it. Like most video
I don't
games
want
now.
I don't want your message about society and whatever the government. Yeah, just give me riding with a sword, chopping everything.
I'm
up.
making the mother
That
of
game
all
was
omelets
over.
here, Tony.
But you gotta think about that. That's where games have won. It's like because games have
Jeez.
always dealt with a lot of that stuff with politics and everything because they've
Yeah.
had those stories. But it's like it dips into those, but it's got that cinematic feel. So you got your games that have gone onto that cinematic field,
Uh-huh.
but then you got your games because like you have your Call of Duties, you have your PUBGs now
Yeah.
too. So they have like everything for everybody. So it's like they're bringing the game industry is so different compared to
Yeah.
beep 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 with the palm.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it's
No,
hilarious
Kojima had
though
a-
because
Kojima had a good balance of all that with 1,
Yeah.
2, and 3. With 4, he went too far, and with 5, I played the demo. I was like, oh, we're going this again. And that Peace Walker PSP, same thing. Oh, we're going to this again, man. It's just
So what's your
I don't
thoughts
know.
on Death Stranding?
I've never played it. I never played it. I mean, I could tell it's more like a movie than a game. This is what it looks like. I mean,
No,
he's
it's
hired Hollywood
literally
actors.
its own
Hollywood actors
subgenre.
again.
It is a game experience. It is not a movie. It is an experience.
Are you sure? Because he even has like a you suck mode. Where you can just,
it's an
you can just
experience.
watch it. You can just watch it for crying out loud. What? I mean, he has a you suck mode. We can just watch it as a
Yeah,
movie.
because
I'm like,
you gotta put his IGN. If not, you got like a 2 out of 10.
yeah, I don't know, man.
Too much water.
I don't know. Give me another Revengeance. That's what I say.
That's called Devil May Cry 6.
Any Devil May Cry, yeah, any Devil May Cry. Or Bayonet is coming, so.
I'm kind of excited with what the direction that they went
Oh,
with
yeah.
Street Fighter though. Street Fighter has been looking
Yeah.
beautiful. This new Street Fighter game coming out. I think it's gonna. They said they're gonna add some open world elements to give it a little bit different feel to the game, but you still have the core fighting element in there, which I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting, and I'm loving the designs coming out of this one, like the updated designs for characters. Like Cammy is looking fantastic, Jury is looking fire.
Kimberly is using Bush and Rue, but with graffiti cans. It's pretty cool.
Nah, it's
It's pretty cool.
I can't wait for it. Yeah, my buddy Kimbo, he keeps posting stuff. I'm like, come on, I want more. Hey, I know that.
It's your mistake, and you don't know anything.
I know that.
Wow.
I sneezed that out I don't know how long ago. Oh,
You've
man.
been sneezing things out, man. You know that's how creative you are.
Listen, I have been in the lab working hard on these pieces. Yes, this is actually from the webcomic that I released. This is actually from Chapter 1, Part 2 of Concrete Combat, exclusively on the Patreon right now at Sebastian at patreon.com/Bonet Studios. So this has been a fun piece to work on. It's been a fun story to put together, man. It's been a while in the making for this story and a lot of bumpy roads with this one.
Well,
And
I know
it
we talked a little bit about it on Monday. So why don't we give you the floor and you like go in the direction of explaining all this stuff because you've been gone for a while. I mean, completely gone. You still have your show on Tuesdays, but you know we haven't seen you where we usually see you.
Oh, like posting online, doing fun stuff, sending love messages to Nathan down there.
Oh, wow, please, no.
No, so This is from again part two of chapter 1 for Concrete Combat. It's the webcomic I've been working on for a while. It originally started as a print. It was a fun print to. It was going to be a basketball player in the position of Goku, ready to go, and then I just decided to spin a whole story out of this. It takes place in a futuristic world, a cyberpunkish world. Has a little bit of fantasy elements in there with different backgrounds of characters, like you see the orc piggy dude right there. It is about a story about Micah Gordon, about his legacy. Is it going to crush him? Is it going, or is he going to embrace his legacy and actually become the superstar and the person that he's always set out to be? Deals with a little bit of political intrigue with this world, dealing with 6 corporations and a city called Citadel Utopia. Those 2 words combined together was done purposely. We'll talk more about that later. It deals with a little bit of religious aspects in there of how the extremism can become a bad thing in terms of religion and those who are dealing with spirituality, those versus each other. It also deals with family. It deals with the concept of family, like family being either like, those are blood or those who you meet and everybody, because like we're all family here. And it also deals with the fact of again, a class system that we all pretty much see there, what's happening in the city. Like again, people are go to play the sport because they want to pretty much live their dream. They want to be a superstar. So what's the better way? You volunteer to be into the sport that is used for 6 companies to prevent them from fighting each other. Everything is taken on the field. It's like again, like how the gladiators did it in Rome, like the Romans did it with the gladiators. So pretty much that's the entire story summarized right there. And it's just been fun. I've done so many concepts with this, and this is probably the 5th iteration of the story, 4th or 5th, and it just was there. This is the family. This is with the part 2 where you get to meet the Gordons, and it was just been fun coming out with these colorful characters. My style is very anime influenced, and I said I pretty much that's the most I could say about the book right there. Any questions for me, Doc?
And you've decided to take this as a web series instead of taking this as a book at first, right?
Yeah, originally I was gonna think about doing a comic, but then I was like, finances and everything, still recovering from COVID and everything like that, because COVID really did a lot on the industry, did a lot on number. I would love to do a Kickstarter, but I haven't been on the field that much to really get people to support. So I was like, you know what, $3 a month, that's not bad. That's not bad. You want to support the project, and I thank everyone who does support it right now, because again, that goes to help to support the project. I've been releasing every Tuesday. Part 3 is coming out next Tuesday. Part 4 will be in September. I gotta thank George Medina from Catch the Craze, the creator of Wonder Duck. He actually helped with the lettering on this. Eric Hutch, who helped with the editing on that first script. And it's been a fantastic ride with development of characters. And I gotta thank the world of D&D, because D&D I've used to help with developing some of the characters and all that, just from my experiences playing D&D.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about that on Monday, and I was saying that one of the ways that I became a better writer was through D&D, because D&D actually helps you break down the writing process. You start off with creating your own characters as a player, and creating the character in the world of the DM's world, or the world of the setting, depending on what you want to do. So, that's all like comes together and makes you better and better writer.
Who fell asleep?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm trying.
Yeah, there's some snoring. I was gonna say in the chat.
I warned y'all.
That is
okay, Shadow.
I just fucking with it.
Shadow's been burning the midnight oil.
I miss you guys. I know how it is. No, it's been fun working on this. So we're gonna have big hugs and beers at the next convention where we all meet. No, it's been fun coming out with this story, because again, like I said, I've been through so many iterations. At one point, I did have a version that was done.
Mm-hmm.
That at one point I was going to be web based. It was very Hunter influence, but I was like, it's not ready. It's not ready to be released. So then I dropped it, and I recycled a lot of characters that I've designed and used, because there are a lot of characters I'm introducing in this world. I'm trying to build more lore as we get through these first 3 chapters. Each chapter is going to lead up, like book 1, book 2, book 3. This is part of book 1, chapter 1. that I've been working on, and once I get enough pages, I'm going to collect it into like a graphic novel
Right.
for people later on, but as it builds more interest. But that's the character Kyver, who I played in a D&D game. I repurposed him for this as well. And it was just fun to reinvent that character too with after what I did with him in D&D. So, but I just been having fun with it, creating this world, the concepts, the vehicles that everybody drives in, the way the structure is, the housing system. I've looked at various influences, like for example, back to Final Fantasy VII just to get ideas of city structure. Looked at the Matrix stuff. Like I just looked at various things, Blade Runner, and just to draw various different experiences with looking like how do you design a utopia type city, and then with combining the name Citadel and Utopia, calling Citadel Utopia the city, you think about it. Citadel is like, a fortress. It's very cold. Utopia is a very peaceful like thing when you think about it. So have that combined into one, it's like it kind of shows you what the world that I am trying to build here and all that. And I had fun. Even so, I have some of my friends' characters make small cameo appearances in it too. Like if you see in the background here, Eric Hutch's character, Crimson Huntress, she makes a brief cameo. It was fun just to draw the character in there. Has nothing to do with story. It was just something fun to do there for people and all that.
It's funny that you say that because I saw the drawing you're talking about, and I was like, wait a minute, that looks like because I know the characters. I was like, wait a minute, that looks like what's he doing there? Is he part of the thing here?
No, that was just so what I've done is that with the pages I'm doing some fun tidbit stuff where just to help with background characters and all that, throw in some fun characters and everything. Some people's characters make appearance, like in one of the panels that you're gonna see in part 3. I had a few characters from some people make a cameo appearance, and I had fun with it. But I'm also doing it to throw people's eyes off because I do want to put stuff in there that actually affects the story later. Like, oh wait, this person was, and so I mean, I won't give too much away about that, but I've written up to like 10 chapters already for book 1. And I was like, oh, this will be cool if I did this here and moved it over there. And that's what's been fun with the design process for this.
It looks fantastic what you're doing. I like what we're doing. It's funny that you're saying this because I know one of the things that we do as writers. I know people think that we create a coherent story and it just comes together. And this is whole like process that people have in their mind when they think of writing. And I've bastardized other stories and other things and taking characters and concepts from there and put it into something else I'm working at. I feel like one of the most dangerous things as something you're creating as a writer is for it to just stay there in the background because it will never come out. It'll be used for something else.
Well, I mean, yeah, I have like books of characters and design stories and everything, and I just like it's been sitting there, and I'm like, I go, yeah, I want to create this story, I want to create that story, but I'm like, like I said, there's points in the script, I write down footnotes and I just put it right there, a sticky note, put it on the side. I'll visit that later. That's a bullet point. I'll visit later. Let me continue to focus on this main story. Because I have stuff already. Like I said, there's a lot of lore I want to introduce to people. I've already designed a world map that will be posted for people to see what this world looks like. And I've pulled from other story ideas that I've had that are going to lead into, again, building in these characters' histories, why they do what they do. And then there are a lot of designs. Like I posted a comic called Lords of New York on my Patreon. It was a comic I was going to come out with after my first comic that I debuted it with was just Dead Planet. I just, again, didn't release it. It was there. And I was like, you know what? I just put it on my Patreon. So people see an unreleased comic. And I actually pulled one of the characters from that comic and repurposed them for this story too. So I was like, yeah, I'm like, I create the character, they're my characters, and it's like it's the same thing with the guy who did and it was funny. I started doing that when I heard how the creator of Fairy Tail recycled character designs. And I was like, some people got upset about that, but other people was like, it's his character designs. He could do whatever the hell he wants with the character designs. And I was like, yeah, I came up with so many different characters. I'm like, it doesn't make sense to have to keep creating new characters. I could just repurpose them, change up the story a little bit, and that's what I did with Kyver. He's very different in the Medusa's Cascade D&D campaign versus what you see in him in Concrete Combat. And it was fun getting to repurpose that character. There's another character, Miz, who appears in the first part, and I kind of repurposed him. He was a character I did in D&D. I repurposed him from this, used some of his personality from there, and kind of mixed it up with how this character would be in this future tech world and all that, instead of a fantasy setting. And it was just really fun reinventing that character.
And it's what we do. It's as writers is what we. I've never understood how people like start attacking the story element of certain things, and I'm like, oh, okay, dude, you got to understand this is that creator's world. They're putting this together. You may not like what he put together, but that's what he's doing. He's or she creating the world that you like. Just because you don't like an aspect of it doesn't mean that the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, I mean, I when I started doing this, I was like, I wanted to create the story that I wanted to see, and I was like, I just wanted to do my characters and everything, and I have fun with it, and that was the most important part, is having fun. And at the end of the day, it's more of an original concept that I wanted to put out there. Because like you see everybody, they get upset when characters and all that change. I'm like, well, these are my own original characters. You can't tell me nothing about that. I'm having fun with it.
Exactly.
If anybody is coming in and they enjoy the story, then I did my job. One person enjoys the story, there we go. I'm glad you liked it. And at the end of the day, it's been fun building these characters. And I've taken a lot of characters too from personal relationships and all that. I've pulled like different elements into that, different, like when I said family aspect, I was saying it on Cast the Craze earlier, because we were talking about the family dynamic that you see in part 2 of chapter 1, part 2. I was like, yeah, that was more of me hanging out with my family on Saturday. Like everyone has that uncle that they played with,
Yep.
they play fight and all that. I was like, I wanted to incorporate that in there, and I was just putting those elements in there and having fun with it. I was like, oh, this is like memory lane, and it helped to flesh out more of those characters to give you that feeling of, oh, I like this character, this is great, instead of like just something that was just bland. And that's why I was like, the first iteration that I did that was ready to go, it didn't nail it. It did it. And with this, and again, thanks to Eric Hodge with helping out with the editing for that, reading it, and Joseph Ramirez too, who designed that logo. I sent them a concept I wanted. He did it, came out with it, boom, done. He goes by Steady Hands. And again, big thank you to everybody who's helped out with this project.
That logo is hot. I like the way it looks.
Yeah, it is hot.
When I was looking for an image to put on the YouTube, I was like, that's it.
The image is hot.
Yeah.
Fire.
So let me ask you this, because we're touching on certain aspects of geekdom in general, and I know we you cover geekdom on your show, and lately we've had all this material like we were talking about before, where when we were younger it wasn't there, but now it's all there. Do you feel like as fans, everybody's gone down the deep end of it, because I feel like they don't like anything anymore?
I feel like as fans, and again, the nerds, and congratulations, we just hit 300 subs. The team has been doing very well. We've been killing it. But I feel as fans, I feel like there are fans who are afraid of change and are so a hold on a lot of the older stuff. And you have to understand is that a lot of the older stuff won't hold up in today's world, and it doesn't age well. And it's great when you have fans creating stuff like Kevin Feige. I think he is a fan of what he does with Marvel stuff.
Right.
And like a lot of people, for example, they were getting on the whole fact of Namor representing like an Aztec culture. I don't mind that. I think that is a great direction to go with the character, because it kind of distances itself from Aquaman, who was already done and doing the Atlantis story. So it's not the same boring repetitive story. I get it. Namor had his roots in Atlantis, but it's kind of cool to kind of showcase another culture now. And you have to understand we're dealing with the multiverse now. This can be a multiverse version of the character, and I kind of like the concept. And we have to understand as fans, back in the day, any of the stuff you talked about, people made fun of you.
Exactly.
This wasn't getting made. Yeah. This was not getting made, so they make the stuff for you to hate. Like for example, it's great to be upset about the fact that Batgirl got canceled. I don't think that should have been canceled. If it would have been a trash movie, I think everything that DC has put out has been hot trash. That's fine, with the exception of the last Batman movie. I thought it was okay. I didn't like Pattinson's performance, but I'm not gonna say it was bad. These people put their blood, sweat, and tears in it.
Mm-hmm.
and you know, like we talk about it too over there at Nerds, like yeah, they're the superhero genre movies have really graduated and changed compared to what they were before.
That's
When you
true.
had the campiness and all that, it's like stuff has to change for it to grow in order for it to keep doing like they did it in comics. If you look at it, like for example, there are people who are upset with the fact that Falcon became Captain America, but if you look at the stories back in the 80s and all that, when they were introducing John Walker, that was already a concept they were going to play with. And
Yeah.
one of the things they did in that, they were like, oh, the world's not ready for a black Captain America. They did that in the 80s and
Yeah.
early 70s.
Mhm.
And that was way before the stuff. And then you have the Neil Gaimans and all that and stuff that's coming out.
I'm happy you brought that up because that bugs me out because when you bring that up to people who are arguing these points, you go, dude, it's straight from the comics.
Yeah.
It's not like they're making this up. Falcon became Captain America in the comics. Why are you having an issue with this? You know, and it's not even like it's recent comics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They're pulling from like that's why I like with Marvel stuff, they're pulling from multiple sources because they have a plethora of stuff
Right.
that they pulled from the new to the old. And the thing is this, a lot of the older stuff, for example, the Mandarin, as much as we saw the Mandarin back in the day, you have to understand the time period that the Mandarin was created. That's when some of this stuff was created doesn't fly anymore. Because, like, for example, a character like Yellow Claw. Could you imagine if Yellow Claw appeared on TV today? And it's like, again, I remember reading those comics as a kid. I'm not going to compare because I read them as a kid, but if you create that character now, he's an Asian man that's yellow, has the Fu Manchu mustache and all that, as like, and they called him Yellow Claw. He was a villain, and it was that stereotype. It's like going back to Breakfast and Tiffany's when you had
It was
Mickey
nice. It
Rooney.
made me feel represented in comic books.
Yeah.
You know, I felt seen
But
when I saw that guy. I'm speaking for my Asian community. They're trying to take it away from us, you know.
Take it away from me, Mickey Rooney.
I'm
But no,
like that.
but I like that
Sorry,
they're like people. I hate when people use the word woke because it just means that you're just not paying attention or care about, you know, the representation and stuff like that. And I have a long list to argue that, but I'm not going to do that because it's not an argument panel or anything. It's just that stuff has to evolve in order for it to continue to grow.
But at the same time, like it's not like they're taking the Atlantis idea from out of the air. This is one of the theories that they had where Atlantis was closer to South America, and that's where it was because there's like a bunch of locations where they think Atlantis could have been, and one of the locations is right off of South America. So you know, it's not like it's a brand new theory. This is an old theory on Atlantis, you know. So that bugs me out too. And then when you bring stuff up like this up to people, they get all flustered and weird, and you're like, dude, you know. And as somebody who likes mythology and does history and all this and that, I'm like, I have no problem with this because this follows as one of the ideas that they had, one of the theories they had of Atlantis. So I'm like, you know, why are you so upset about it? You know, because it comes across more as, you know, you don't like the fact that they are what they've made them, what they made them, instead of it's a bad story idea.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's a great concept and a great way to go with that because at the end of the day, Atlantis is a lost civilization. And it's like you're getting upset about fictional character. I mean, again, you think about the time period when these characters came out. You didn't have a lot of representation because let's be honest, the 60s there was no representation. The 50s there was no representation. It was or
very little.
And then so now it's the fact is that we live in a world, and I remember this was way before like all the Marvel movies. Marvel already said that, you know, they understood that there was a problem. I remember it was a New York City Comic-Con panel. And someone asked him, like, are we going to get any diversity in comics? And the guy was like, one of the writers was like, yeah. He's like, you know, I understand there's a problem. He's like, I got to write my favorite Avengers team. And I realized that every member that I got to put in that comic was blonde haired and blue eyed. He was like, I felt like I was writing a team for Super Hitler. And I remember that line specifically. So it's like they already knew that there was a problem. It was like, we live in a world, a multicultural world. And I like the fact that we are creating that. Like, for example, you still have Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers has always had the mantle of Captain America, but he's also passed it on many times. He was also the man without a country. He was Nomad. There have been multiple people who've had the mantle of
the first
Captain
U.S.
America.
agent.
Even before Steve came back, if you look at the Marvel lore, there were other people that they had tried to replace him when Steve Rogers disappeared in War One, and and it just didn't work. Like and those were the stories that they're pulling from. And even with the fact when Marvel introduced the concept that Isaiah Bradley, I love the Isaiah Bradley. It's his story is a cautionary sad tale, and it was very cool that they tied it in with Vietnam because that was stuff that happened in Vietnam. And I think from it, people just don't like to be reminded of history, but at the same time, a lot of comics that were successful did take from realism. Like when you look at Arrow, Green Arrow, Bucky, was it his sidekick Speedy? Was a drug addict, and they dealt with drugs with that way. It was a great storyline, and
it's funny because people remember it now, like they forget that that was controversial. That book was controversial when it came out. There was a lot of things, a lot of issues. People had a lot of issues with that book when it came out. Now they act like oh yeah, I'm like but
it's part of the character's history.
Exactly. You got to remember that at that point when it came out. People are crazy as you are today with the stuff that's happening now.
But it's like the stuff with Spawn. When Spawn first came out, I remember Spawn was getting flack in the news because Spawn tackled homelessness.
Yeah.
And people didn't want to see that, but it was like Spawn was such a great read. Yeah, but the fact is that it was like, oh, there is a homeless epidemic. And this was like, again, if you look at it in the 90s. So comics, I tell people, comics has always been and had pulled from realism. Like the X-Men. Yeah. The X-Men, people wanted to deny it, but the X-Men was about racism.
It was.
It was about racism at the end of the day.
Chris Claremont took over?
With Claremont,
Chris Claremont took over.
With Stan Lee, it was more about like puberty and youth and this and that. It was more about that. But when Claremont took over, it was definitely about racism. Man.
In the 80s, when I was reading the Claremont comics, I felt something because I felt like, oh wait, this is my struggle. I feel like the mutants. I feel like the muties. I've had people treat me in that way, and I connected so much to them because it had that feeling of this is what I'm going through.
But it's like a lot of people too. A lot of people were talking about how, Wanda now is trash. Why did they do that to Wanda? Like, you don't understand. Wanda dealt with a mental issue and she dealt with loss. They did that in the comics in Avengers Disassembled. When she lost her kids and she became a villain, she killed people. That was already done in the comics. When they showed it into the movies, it's like, again, we got full circle. Wanda.
I still think in the movies it was too much. I mean, she killed like heroes in the comics, and these are heroes that came back to life anyway. But in the movie, she was just like killing random monks, and it was like blowing up the Death Star again. A bunch of innocent people who had nothing to do with anything. That was too far for me.
But it showed how fragile. But it really showed how fragile her mental.
It was a little too far for me. It was a little too far for me to go from WandaVision. It was too far for me.
But it's like
I still like the movie. But I think that was a little too far. Kill all the heroes you want. It's comics. They're gonna come back to life. But the random monk over there that you just know, man.
But it showed.
Knock him out. You don't gotta kill him. Like, geez, calm down.
But it showcased her mental status because at the end of the day, first of all, she lost her kids, she lost Vision, and then the other thing too about it is that she got the Darkhold, so it corrupted her.
Yeah, because the
Dark. Again, it showed how dark. And again, she first started in the Marvel movies as a villain, turned hero. But again, we see in WandaVision.
Same thing happened in comics. Yeah, she started as a villain. Yeah. So same thing.
But again, unless you see a body, she ain't dead. She is still in play in the MCU.
Oh no! She ain't dead.
She's gonna get her. She's going to get her redemption arc, and I feel that we're going to see that in the next few phases because she's going to be a major player, again, with getting her redemption arc. And the rumors are that Wanda that we saw in that alternate universe is one that was probably married to Wonder Man. So they're setting a lot of stuff up, and they're pulling all the sources. And I think it's just, again, it brings the character full circle because even after what she did in Disassembled, she had her redemption arc after that. And I feel that this is the route where we're going with the character. It's like, she has to go this route, her kids and everything, because all the young Avengers are in play too.
Yeah, they're all coming into a setup. So those two have to come in, and it's a multiverse story, like like you're saying. And Tony, I completely agree with you. Somebody's coming back from the dead. in one way or another, somebody's coming back from the
Well,
dead.
Secret Wars.
We're not done with Wanda yet.
They've already said it. The last
Random
two
people
Avengers
never
movies-
come back. Random people never come back though.
No, but they've already said it.
They don't care.
It's the last two Avenger movies is Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret War.
Wars.
And Secret Wars, the last edition of Secret Wars was a multiverse war, and the only ones that survived were the prime universes that combined together.
Yeah.
All the other weak universes, and that was what we saw in Multiverse of Madness. That was a weak universe. All the strong ones, the main ones, survived, and that's when Miles Morales was pulled into the main MCU Marvel Comics, and so that's what they're really leading up to, because it's like this whole phase, and that's how they're going to probably rope in some characters that are not in the main MCU universe. What the aftermath after Secret Wars, because like we didn't know what Marvel was going to do after the blip. We're now seeing the aftermath of that from Phase 4, and we're getting into Phase 5. Whereas once Phase 6 hits, Phase 7 is going to be nuts with where we're left with that aftermath, and I'm pretty sure they're already plotting out with that with the X-Men and everything, because we've already got the hint of mutants.
With me, it's like, what are you guys doing? You have the rights to the X-Men. Stop with these 20 movies that are not called X-Men. What are you doing?
Well, they have already dropped the fact that Miss Marvel already dropped the fact of mutants. But what's really interesting is this.
They all wanted that little problem. The X-Men just.
Originally, Miss Marvel was supposed to be a mutant in the comics. That's what the original creator said.
Yeah.
And who messed that up was the guys who were in charge of Marvel at the time, because when Fox had the rights to the X-Men movies.
Right. They didn't want to. Yeah, at the time they went through a whole thing with.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't want anybody creating.
Miss Marvel was supposed to be a mutant.
So Fox could use them, and whenever they created new characters, it was characters that like Fox couldn't use, because you had like Gwenpool, it's like part Gwen, part Deadpool. They can't use Gwen, and then you had like, what was another one? Oh, they had like Onslaught. They had like Red Skull possessed with Onslaught's mind. You can't use that, you know. So, or they would make characters like it would just be a floating brain floating around. Like, yeah, go ahead, Fox, go ahead and use that. Go ahead and have a floating brain.
Well, we still got a lot.
That was a time period where they were doing. Yeah, they were just like either you couldn't create a mutant, or if you created a mutant, it was something that, you know, they either couldn't use or would have to spend a lot of money to use with special effects. So
well, that's why
Kevin Feige was like a skeleton. Yeah,
well, that's why Kevin Feige is in charge of
everything. All intentional.
I agree. That's probably why Kevin.
Yeah, he's in charge
of everything.
Yeah, because remember the Inhumans, they were trying to make them the replacement X-Men, but they just became the bargain bin.
That did not work.
That's what happened. It didn't work at all.
That backfired, actually. Oh, dude, man. Yeah, see that whole rabbit hole, but it all comes back to what we were saying before. It's you know, I feel like people when they're looking at things, they're not really looking at the creative process. They're just looking at what they want. They're looking at their fandom, their fan. What do you call it? Their fan fiction.
They have a love for the character that they fell in love with, but when you're seeing like the changes, like for example, I don't understand why Miss Marvel got hate, and I don't understand like why Prey got hate. I don't understand, like, it's just these are
Prey was awesome.
Yeah, there are people who hate Prey, awesome. And it's like, dude, go watch the first Predator movie then if that's what you want.
Yeah,
if that's what you want. Prey was awesome with what it did, and it really said, like, a lot of people can't believe that this young actress, young character.
They didn't market. I don't think they marketed Prey correctly, because they made Prey seem like it was a movie about like the message. It wasn't really, you know. It was.
Yeah, a lot of.
I mean, yeah, she was a girl, but it wasn't like these movies they make now where they have these women who they're everything they do is better than men. They could like knock 10-foot men out with one punch. It wasn't that, but that's like kind of like how it was marketed. It was marketed, it was a message, but it wasn't like she came into her own. Like, she grew during the movie. She came into her own. So it wasn't that typical thing that we see. So Prey was great. If you got Hulu, watch it, you know.
Yeah, it's Prey. We got to talk about it yesterday, and we were touching up on it, like how you said, she grew as a character in it. You saw it, and her brother acknowledged it. She wasn't. She was able to hold her own, and it was very believable. And she was a flexible character. And it was very beautiful of how it just went with the story.
I mean, you take a look at what they're doing with She-Hulk. It's like, I mean, It's not out yet. Whatever. It comes out next week. But if you take a look at it, and it's like, well, she couldn't get her powers through a transfusion from Hulk because, oh no, heaven forbid, a man has to save a woman. So I think they're doing like his blood goes all over her. And then when they show her training, it's like, wow, I can do everything better than you can do. Because I'm a woman. It's that type of thing that people are tired of, like.
But that was literally again rip from the comics, because she what they're doing with her character, like they did in the comics back in the day, she embraced.
But there was no Hulk training She-Hulk session. That never happened, and it was not like.
I think that's more of them building.
And then she got her powers through a transfusion. They're not doing that solely because, heaven forbid, the Hulk, a hero, has to save a woman. Heaven forbid. I'm like, that's the part that people are tired of, So
I think that's the trope that a lot of people got tired of, because it's like when someone wrote about like all these new Disney movies.
I mean, there are a bunch of ways you can give. There are a bunch of ways you can give She-Hulk powers that don't even involve the transfusion. Like every time you see Carnage or Venom have a different origin story, there's a bunch of ways you can do it. I don't know about Hulk's blood went on top of me, like I mean, I'd put him in a warp chamber. Something went wrong. Have She-Hulk go to WandaVision land. I mean, there's a bunch of ways you can.
An old Stark experiment goes wrong and releases
gamma
radiation.
That's the whole Marvel universe. The old Stark experiment goes wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what the thing was like.
Washes over She-Hulk, and what did she snip it, or I don't know. It comes out next week. We'll see what they do. What's up?
Shadow?
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Is like I don't like to hate on stuff before it's come out because it might be good, but it's just so transparent. Some of the like pandering stuff is just gone out of control.
Well, it's like this. It's like
you want to change Neymar's whole story, whatever. Like if you're gonna make it good, fine. But it just everyone's so afraid it's just some checklist bullshit.
The Namor stuff was fine. The Namor stuff was fine.
I think it's probably gonna
end up like Namor.
The Namor
That's one of the reasons I'm like, wait a minute. Why did
his origin story came out what?
Like Namor. His origin, the tight greenies. He looks like Namor. I don't see what the problem is.
Namor stuff is
it might be terrible. I don't know. I just mean I think I agree with what Tony was saying. And everyone's just so initially worried that it's just going to be like, oh, they're just pandering and it's going to be terrible and like there's no actual reason for this other than like, see, we've checklisted your whatever, so now you have to like it or you're part of the problem. And it's like, well, if you did it and you made it good, everyone acknowledges that like the MCU isn't the comic books, and even the comic books are completely inconsistent about a ton of stuff. So
the Namor stuff is fine. I mean, his origin story is like what exists before Marvel was created. You're that concerned with it? Really? All right.
Yeah, Namor is one of the original.
That's fine. Yeah,
Human Torch, Namor, and Captain America.
Yeah, America. Yeah, I mean, you're that concerned with that comic? Really? You're that concerned with that origin story? Really? Yeah, I'm not. I'm like, no, I'm not.
I think
Sebastian.
Go
ahead.
And it was like you said, it's too close to Aquaman. You got to switch it up a little bit, because Aquaman exists and his movies are gonna go on, and so I was fine. I'm fine with that.
You want to say, Sebastian?
No, I was saying I think it's more than them just checking off a checklist, because I've seen like with studios you can tell that they're checking off a checklist. I feel like because like again it hasn't come out yet. We're gonna get like maybe a little explanation, but I like again with what they're doing, it's like it feels like they're ripping the character because from the books, because she was more accepting of her Hulk side where Banner wasn't.
Yeah.
So because he wasn't accepting too much, that's why with Banner you have those multiple personalities. So because she's more accepting of it, she's more of that character who's going to have more of a hang of the power versus one who is always fighting that power. Like you can see it in the trailers, how he's just very still anti-Hulk, and like you gotta learn to be the power and all that. That's why it's like I even like when she looks at the camera, a lot of people are upset about that. Like that's Deadpool things. Like no, she's doing that.
Yeah, she's been doing that way before Deadpool. Yeah, way before Deadpool. Yeah.
So
She-Hulk, She-Hulk. That's what. Yeah. One of the famous things about She-Hulk is the breaking that fourth wall.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people love the character, because she's just been a fun character, and I think that's one of the things that they showcased in the trailer is that she's going to be that fun character that people remember in the comics. She was just fun. She was a superhero lawyer. What more can you want on that? It's gonna be what was it? What's the show? Harvey Birdman. with
Yeah,
Marvel.
Harvey Birdman.
So I think it's gonna be a fun show.
Yeah, I wish everyone would stop hating on stuff before it even happens. You know, it's just like it might be terrible, and we'll tear it apart when it sucks. But
like a lot of the reasons why people hate stuff, though, I don't like. There was someone who wrote an article like, "Oh, we need to go back and have the Disney princesses like they were." Like, wait, young girls who were being taken advantage by older men. That's what you want. I mean, now it's like if you look at the last stories, it's been about family. It's been about coming into your own and all that. Like, it's there's been so much more. The characters have. That's why I said evolution. That's how things evolve.
My favorite thing with the Disney princess was when they were on Wreck-It Ralph and they did that whole I love that
was hilarious.
Oh my god, I wanted to see a movie with them in it, just a movie like that with them hanging out. That would have been great.
That was it became hilarious where they even like some people have taken Harry Potter and added him in as a meme, like, Harry, well, you're a princess because you went through that the trauma and all that. But it's like even like because like even the darker stories were probably much better than what Disney was doing with the characters back then. Like, again, Sleeping Beauty, that's Stockholm syndrome right there. Come on. And like Moana was great. Was it the last movie that came out that was by Manuel, that Lin-Manuel with the family, Encanto? That was a beautiful movie. It was about family. It was, and that's what it was about. It didn't need to go down the Disney princess trope.
People that jumped out of nowhere going, "Oh, well, I don't like how abuela whatever gets away with everything." I'm like, yeah,
everybody who had an abuela, you had an abuela,
exactly. We deal with this stuff. I feel like it's not the culture. At least the way my personal family is not the culture that you get rid of people like that unless they're really, really, really toxic. And even then, you try to help them as much as you can.
Yeah. And that's what it was. It was about family coming together. Like anybody who saw that, who've gone through that with family, with big families, you had someone there that was represented.
Exactly.
And Abuela again.
That movie.
You know what I'm going to do now, just for you saying that, Nathan? I am going to continue to send you. We don't talk about Bruno. I'm going to DM it to you every day.
Oh my god.
I haven't seen it.
We've gone down this rabbit hole before. We don't want.
I haven't seen it.
Go back there.
It's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable family
movie.
We'll
segue into this. We'll segue into the fact that this all started because we're talking about how stories are written, how what direction we go with stories, and you're talking about how you were crafting your story, and that's why we went in that direction. So to come back to what you're doing here, what else do you need to tell the audience so they can connect a little bit more, so they can pay their $3 and get your Patreon and check this out because it looks good to me.
It's been a fun ride. Like I said, it's going to deal with some political intrigue in there with the politics that have to deal with this world because, again, you have 6 major corporations that's running this world. It's going to deal with the radicalization of religion in there. Again, it's not just one specific religion. I actually created a religion called humanists because, as you could see there, that character right there, he's not human. So it's like I'm not picking on any one religion. It's just a general religion I created for the world and how that radicalism really affects people there, but how also too some people like try to bring it back with being like, there was this religious, I joined it for spirituality. It's going to deal with definitely the class system on the political level. Like, why are some of these people going to put it all out there in this sport like a gladiator, like in the back of the days in Rome, where why did someone become a gladiator? You were a slave, or you went there because of fame and glory. Exactly. And this was your way to get out the slums. It's going to deal with family. There is a family dynamic. It's going to show that family is thicker, goes beyond than blood, because family is the people who you surround yourself with. And again, it's going to follow this character and other characters' journey. Like, again, Micah is the main character. You're going to see that, again, is his family legacy going to crush him, or is he going to rise to the occasion of his family journey? And again, this was a fun scene too. Eric Hutch's other character makes a grand little appearance there. He's one of the characters on those screens. So again, like I said, I did a little cameo. but again, I really want to create a world and a sandbox for people to come play in, have fun, pick a character that they like, and just go from there. I mean, we get to next chapter 2, we're going to be introduced to more characters. Chapter 3, even more characters of who is going to help shape this character's world and help shape the story for this world. And I took from some personal experiences I went through. I was like, how can I tell the story? And I wanted to tell the story without alienating anybody from any group. Where it's like I want people to come together and talk about those topics where we could talk about without having to fight about it. Like again, like I said, like I deal with the radicalization of religion, how it affects some people in there, and it's like it's a general religion I created for this world. Like you go around and you see some, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go down the street and it's like, oh, I don't like this fox looking person, this humanoid fox thing. And it's like, it deals with a sense of, actual like racism. It's humans versus another race and all that. I have elves in there. I have very different things and all that. So it's like, how do people deal with that? And then with the class system, again, like what were people willing to sacrifice to become on those upper echelons? So the city's like divided in levels. Like I have a whole robot section where it's like the robots live in this section, where like one robot we'll get to meet him, learn his backstory and everything. And even in the second page of the story, you see like this diverse crowd of characters from cyborgs, humans, and it's like you do get to learn more about the humanists in chapter 3 a little bit. Right. But you start to see that more and more as everything starts to sprinkle out there. But again, it's been a fun story. It's been a fun world to build, and just giving everyone a general like character, like, and different races and everything. Like I don't see like, you see everyone of different creeds, colors, and all that. That's the page right there where you see the different races of people standing out there, the different. Right. And they're outside of this arena. Funny story, I used Madison Square Garden as a idea to draw that, and I was like, just looking at it like, arena, what do you think of a great big arena? Madison Square Garden, let's go. And then that's the main building for next what was it, a Axis Infinity. That's the big major corporation there that's going to have a big tie in the main character story, and just having fun with the aesthetic, with the characters' looks and all that, going with some of the dark tones. And then in some pages they got these beautiful, like the just very colorful panels and all that. And you see it's like the characters right there, you have 2 characters on the field already, and my little dude's anchors right there having fun.
Dude, this has such a wrestling feel to it. And I know you like wrestling, so I was like sitting. I feel like this is part of the wrestling aspect.
Yeah, like, it definitely is. No, it looks like what a Madison Square Garden looked like during Comic-Con. People were dressed up in rooms just like this and outside. It's cool.
And that's what I wanted to go for. It's playful, colorful panels too. You get these playful looking characters, this beautiful, colorful world, and it is just like that. Like the character, like I did take my love for wrestling to make larger than life characters. Like when you go to Madison Square Garden or when you go to a wrestling arena, a lot of those wrestlers are larger than life. I was like, I wanted to create that in this story too. It's like that's where all the other entertainment aspect comes in. You got these bigger than life characters in there and their personalities, and then the uniforms and all that.
I like your use of color. Like, look at those lights, how they shine. Now that's wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you. I learned a lot of different things, a lot of different techniques with doing this too, because I was like, like it was funny. I just do the dots and then go in there with the airbrush a little bit lighter, turn it up, and then go in there, continue a little bit of the blur, because I wanted to get that from like you when you go to the arena, you see, look into the rafters, you got the darkness, but then the lights are just really shining on you, and I really want to create that feeling I get when I go to a sporting arena in this panel right there. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you can definitely feel it, and like you were saying and Tony was saying, the color palette you use actually helps you feel that here. Here in the front, you have all this beautiful color, and then the crowd kind of blends into each other. But at the same time, you got the fighting happening in the background, on the floor, and in the screen. And those lights, dude, they're fire, because they actually look like lights.
I wanted to really, and that's why I got to compliment George Medina, who did the lettering, because his lettering definitely helps complement a lot of the pages.
Yeah, it's like not in the way. Yeah.
I wanted to really work people's eyes visually on really big shots. if I could incorporate as much as I can in that shot for you, I wanted to give you something also visually pleasing to just keep you looking around the page and just have fun with it. If it was like dead space there was a reason for that. It's because like thanks again, Tony, for that. Like I wanted the lights to stick out.
Dude, it has a George Perez feel to it, so that's good. Because when George puts things in, it's not like he's trying to make it busy. He's trying to put things in so they all fit together, and it's a scene of something that's happening,
And it's like right here, the TV studio. I wanted to I did that all that small stuff on the right because you go to some of these TV studios, you got all the stuff on the right there.
Exactly.
People in the background doing stuff. So it's like it didn't want that to take up too much. I just put it there, that's a nice thing right there. Because I was like, what could I do with this space? Oh yeah, this is how a television studio would do that. You got the camera right there, and then they got the screens behind them and everything with different players and all that.
Yep.
I wanted to catch that sport desk feeling when I did this page.
Oh, you did a good job. And this actually looks like a studio here, and it's funny because, when you're watching TV, you don't really see the background. Maybe sometimes you do, but that's because they're moving the cameras in certain ways and they're not supposed to. But I like this because it actually makes you feel like you're watching it from a different place than the camera.
And when I used to work for Optum, I used to work in one of the offices that had News 12. So I had it on there every once in a while seeing what it looked like. So I kind of drew for an experience this is what it will look like from the side. And then, the close-ups, again, doing with the names popping up and all that. I wanted to get that TVS feeling. That's my, the guy in the bottom right there, his name is Miz. He was actually one of the characters I played in D&D. And I got to repurpose him for this. And it was fun to really do that character again and kind of change him up a little bit, take him from a fantasy world to this world right here. And I kind of he's a retired player. He's giving the commentary. So it's you got the one guy, the analyst, and then you have the retired player just talking to him all his smack and everything. And so it was just fun just putting them together.
I love that. I know I've done it myself where I'll take characters from different places, from other stories, from D&D that I've played, from Vampire the Masquerade that I've played, and I start putting them in certain places because the character fits. Sometimes you got to switch them up a little bit, but I find that most of the times they're just themselves, except there's a little tweak to them.
But yeah, it's been fun, doing stuff with different shaders and all that. It's been a fun learning process. This last page was just fun to do, so it gets you introductions to some new characters that you'll get to meet later on. And then kind of the main character, he's right there in the middle right there. I kind of went for that design to just block him out because you get to see his look later. And each character, the white lion up there, the albino lion, I wanted to do him. He's been a character I repurposed, and I wanted to give him those blood red stripes on his side on his mane. He was fun to do. He's always been one of my favorite characters. You get introduced to him in this chapter coming up on Tuesday in part 3 of chapter 1. You get introduced to him, and then part 4 for the final part for the first chapter is coming out in September because again, thank George for the letters and all that. So that will be released in September, the first week of September. But yeah, it's the character right there, the wolf girl. I designed her maybe 4 or 5 times before I settled on a design that really, really stuck out. And she was a fun character. She's going to be she gets introduced in chapter 2. Again, just with the design aspect overall, I wanted to find stuff that the characters stuck out with their colors and all that too. Just memorable, and fun characters that people were looking at. And again, Mercedes right there, who you see her in the middle with her little green jacket holding the ball out. She was fun to do. That was probably the third design I did for her. I was this just fits the color palette, the green, the purple hues, the grays. And it's she has sexiness, but also too, it's still fully clothed. And then also she's still motherly. You get that in the book when you see the interaction with her family. And you also get to know that she's more one of those characters who's ride or die with you. She's, if you're ready to throw down, she's going to throw down with you, right, and defend you and all that.
Dude, you're doing a great job. I feel like people should really check this out, support it. It's good. I feel like this is an interesting way to do it. Do the website.
I like the way the page is set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like instead of using panels, you're breaking it up this way. That's always cool to see whenever you see someone step away from panels for a little bit.
Shen
It's
says
cool.
she's a big fan of the Wolf Girl.
I am a big fan of her too. She is a fun character to write, and I've been loving with how I've been doing her backstory. So yeah, I'm glad you like the character. It's just, again, I've done so many designs for this character, and thank you, Tony, too. It's I
Mhm.
wanted to depart away from a lot of from some of these bigger pages, from away from a lot of the traditional way that people have done stuff, and I was like, I wanted to make something that your eyes move around a lot to give you some visual eye candy here, there, and then there are going to be some panels where it's like, again, I there's some panels I did where, like I said, when I was writing the 10th script, I'm like, oh, I have to introduce this here. And there are a lot of other characters that I've introduced. And it's fun too, because again, I've put some people's characters in there as little brief cameo appearances just to help fill out the background. But again, give you that colorful feeling that this is a very big, open, diverse world. From you got your robots, you got your cyborgs, you got your wolf girls, you got your pig guys, you got every little bit of things of that. You got your elves, and you get introduced to an elf in chapter 1 and part 3 next week. And like I said, chapter 4 comes out, and I've written already like 10 chapters already, and I'm looking to like get this out with like 3 books. So the first book of the series of all the chapters is taking place like in the minor league, and then part 2, book 2 will be in more of the majors and all that, and you get ideas of some of the characters that are in the majors, and with what's going on for the characters as the story progresses, and then we start to get into the thick of it.
I gotta admit, you're doing a great job at showcasing that. You're showing off a small portion of this big world. Because sometimes it gets lost in translation. But I feel like you're going, oh, look, it's a small part of this bigger world. And there's other stuff happening, and you actually get the feeling from what you're showing here.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the because one of the challenges that was given to me is like when I was writing the script, I had to write it in screenplay format because I want to turn this eventually one day into an animation. So I have it written out into like screenplay format, and which is quite hard to translate into panels. So that's why it's like I'm eliminating panels. I just want beautiful art on there for people to enjoy. But again, it's like as creators, we always have these ideas when we're working on stuff. So that's why I was like, I take my handy dandy book, I write it down, and I'm like, I'll visit that later. If it fits the story, we'll go for it. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna eliminate it, put it as a bullet point, and if it fits later, it fits later. There's stuff that I've thought of that in lines too that I'm like, this will work perfect for this part of the story. And with putting the scripts together too, I've actually combined some of the scripts that I was doing originally, and I was like, yeah, this will probably fit together as one good chapter of introducing these characters and all that. And when I get enough put together, then eventually collect it into like one nice graphic novel for people and an art book. But yeah, again, it's just been an overall fun process, a fun world to dive in. It's been fun to create the various different things, that the various different parts of the machine that keeps this world moving. Like even like drawing from my own experiences, like when I was designing when I was doing one of the a scene where I wanted to put these characters on Subway, I was like, it'd be kind of cool to take the old Redbird trains, but kind of do like a whole cyberpunk feel and mash it up with some future tech and everything like that. So it's been fun to look at different things. That kind of like how, like for example, there's this. I took like a picture of my car, a RAV4, and I took a picture of the side. I was like, let me design this up and make it like little like futuristic beat up and all that. So it's been fun to do that.
Right.
And then again, if I could like put it in a scene and get that visual eye candy for people to get your eye to work around and look at the little things, like for example, you remember the Judge Dredd books?
Yeah.
There was always a lot of stuff in those panels.
Yeah.
And they were beautiful. And that's what I want to do for people. I was like, listen, you give me the $3 a month. I thank you for your support. I really do, because without that, again, this helps support the project and everything. I get to have fun doing this and get to showcase it to everybody, especially with the supporters who get first access to this before if it ever goes public. Which I'm hoping part of this book gets to be put in an anthology with Wayward Raven to be released at Comic-Con, which those dudes are always awesome. I got to work on their webcomic and have fun with it and learn stuff with working on their webcomic. I was like, yeah, let's just go this route.
Oh yeah, they're great guys. They're a blast. They're probably going to be on the show soon. I think I'm working on a date with them, so to have them come on.
Yeah, you gotta have them on. They're all Mark, Alex, Josh, all great dudes, and they do some great stuff too. Great people to learn about Kickstarters from too. Them. Also too, Sunday I'm doing a live drawing for GOASI on virtual. So I'll be doing it from a YouTube channel. So I'll be posting it on my links.
Speaking of GOASI, now that you segued to there,
segue.
Exactly. This week,
and for you, I can segue for $1.
We got Geek Out at Staten Island, and it sounds like a fantastic little convention. It's in an incredible location. Snug Harbor is beautiful, and this con is more like a barbecue, hanging out outside and doing convention stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm excited because I've been trying to go, but then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't go. But I'm excited to go. I'll be up there this Saturday to go say what's up to people. So that'll be my first appearance in a long time. I'm just going out there to say what's up, deliver some stuff for the show. And then Sunday for their virtual show, I'll be doing a live drawing from home at 1 p.m., doing some fun drawing and all that. So people can come join me, chit chat. We'll talk comics and everything, and just rant about stuff. I'm also going to be doing for subscribers of the Patreon, I'm doing a raffle on the 30th. So people can either may win a free commission or a grab bag of random art that I'm going to put in there. So there will be some stuff that is going to be raffled off. I raffled a commission, which Aurelis, I want to thank her. And I did something different, which I did a commission for her on a piece of wood, which
you showed us on Monday. That was great. Yeah.
It was fun. She tagged me in it. I was like, damn, I didn't see the tags. I was like, damn it, I missed it.
Dude, I'm gonna be there on Saturday after I finish filming the project I'm working on.
Oh, cool.
So I should
I wish I heard about it earlier because I can literally walk to Snug Harbor from my house, but I'll be at the Long Island Gaming Expo instead. So yeah, if I can make it, if I get home in time, I'll try to pass by. I'll see what happens. But
yeah, if
the thing is that it's going from 11 to 8.
Yeah, it's going from 11 to 8. But yeah, Tony, if you ever get the chance, the showrunner for Geeks Out, she's very supportive of community and everything. Mm-hmm. If you ever get the chance, even if you can't make it, definitely link up with them because they're very cool.
Yeah,
she's a hell of a nice person.
Yeah, she is.
And she did this coming from a fan's aspect. She wanted to have a show in Staten Island for people who couldn't make it to shows out on other places, and she did it from a very, very good place in her heart and all that. Especially when COVID happened, she still did her show. She moved it outside, had everything done for COVID protocols for people so that they could feel safe, but still have that moment to attend the show. So she was actually did the live show out there that first year. And again, even with talking about her, she did it from a great place, from her heart and all that, and wanted to make sure people were protected, but also still had a great time and experience.
Well, this thing looks fantastic. And she's great. When we had her on Monday to talk about the show, she can geek out with the best of us.
Yeah.
I can see why you guys have had her on the show.
Yeah, she's always a ball to have on the show, and especially again, when we used to do the show in person, when we first met her in person, she's a wonderful person. I can't say nothing more kind of to Naja than, again, she is a wonderful person. She's also been very supportive on stuff and all that. She's a very supportive fan. She's a very supportive with she helped out with the virtual show for Beyond last year. She's very supportive in the mental health and the community with art therapy and everything. She led our mental health panel last year. Which I think was a really great panel that I think people had needed, because when we're in our communities, we don't talk about it a lot.
No.
And just that feeling of, making it easy for people to talk to about and doing it through art therapy. It's she's very passionate about that, on helping people and fans, and even her vendors are, she loves to even take care of her vendors and everything. So.
And art is very therapeutic. So just like D&D is very therapeutic, and we've talked about it before, where D&D is a great place to role play things that you probably wouldn't be able to do in real life, which is always a great thing.
And them Gundams are therapeutic too. They're very therapeutic. I love them. Shout out to Tony's Gundams.
Oh, Tony has a lot of great stuff like that. Oh.
I love them. Some of them transform. So, like of the wing transforms, and I have a from Genesis Climber Mosquito. She transforms too, but hers takes a long time to transform. But she transforms.
Our co-host Val on Nerds, she was on the Mighty Pong show. It's a Twitch show called Sin Shop, and part of the show she was building the Optimus Prime, the Lego Optimus Prime.
Ooh,
cool, awesome.
I'm so jealous of Val. She's like, Val, you got a dope toy, and then Tony has it too. So they're both sharing it off. I'm like, that damn
it. You know, geeks. Oh man. All right, people, you guys got to go this weekend. If you get a chance to go on Saturday for the live show, you might run into Sebastian. You might run into me. You know, I should be there sometime in the afternoon. I think Sebastian, what time are you showing up?
I'll show up. I'm driving from Jersey, bro. I'm gonna show up. I will show up. When I get up and have
I'm just
coffee,
letting you know that I'll be there sometime in the afternoon.
Traffic depending. Hopefully they don't stop me because
that too. Because I gotta go from wherever I am to the convention itself, and it might be a little trip. So
and you two for $1.
It ends at 8 o'clock, so it actually gives me time to get there.
And you two for $1 can support Sebastian Easy Pass Fund.
Exactly. There you go. I thought it was $3.
$1 in a dream.
So Sebastian, we're at the 15 mark here. Tell everybody where to find you, where to support you, all the good stuff. Go ahead.
All right. Let's go. So everybody, you can find me on the Nerds of the Round. We go live every Tuesday night on the YouTube channel. Nerds of the Round. We talk about various geek culture stuff, pop culture. We have fun with it. We got some great topics coming up next week. We're going to be talking about Sandman. You can find me at Sebastian Bonet Art on Instagram. You can find me also too on Twitter. You can find me at patreon.com/Bonet Studios. That's where you could go and subscribe to start looking at the comic for Concrete Combat. You can find me on the Dorky Creation store over at it wasn't Teespring. What was it? I said that to you. Anyway, you can look for me. I'll post the link, whatever. But yeah, that's where you can find me at. You can also listen to me on the Medusa's Cascade podcast. It is a D&D podcast going strong. There's over 80 plus episodes that are out right now. I play a fun, loving character named Kyver. I say that fun loving. Anyway, you can enjoy it. But that is where you can find Sebastian. Sebastian out.
Boom. Yeah, you can tell that you have a show.
Bro, I gotta do the announcements. Everyone, I gotta make it quick with the announcements. Like, here's the announcements today.
Oh, definitely. Especially when the time constraints are actual time constraints. Especially because we try to keep the time constraints, because I know people are like, there's times where we wanted to just keep going because the geek is just that good, but you in your head you're like, no, we need to.
Oh, we started a new segment. The segment is called the Puerto Rican Goodbye.
Dude, that's not good. I've been there. Oh my god. So guys, anything you guys need to say before we wrap this up?
All right, I'm gonna go through these like a bullet point. Support Mark Tours with his Kickstarter designated, as well as it came from the radio. Follow Flooshmellow on Instagram and Twitter. Don't forget that there are 3 cons going on this weekend within our area, one of which is the Staten Island Con. We also have one in Long Island for retro gaming, and one over in Boston, FanFest, I believe. And not only that, we also have Lunar Smoke project our good friend and sleepyhead Shadow Rabbit is a part of. And let's see, which are the other ones? Help me, Ralph, help me. There's like 2 others.
Well, while you're talking about it, I'm putting.
No,
them
I
up,
already said that one. I
know, but I had to put it up. So there goes Lunar Smoke, and our friend Shadow Rabbit actually did a figure for it. It's look at the beautiful art. It's down here on the bottom, going down.
There it is. Scrolling.
Dude, as always, Shadow Rabbit went all out there. Look at this. This thing looks beautiful. Shadow is a constant professional. He makes dreams come true. If you want to commission him to make your dream come true, go right ahead.
We also have The Last Homicide from our friend Frank Martin.
And Last Homicide. Hold on, I put that right up right now. The Last Homicide.
Sure, it's the last one.
Well, supposedly it's the last issue of The Last Homicide. So there we go. The Last Homicide from Frank Martin, our pal Frank Martin. He's been on the show a couple times. You know, he's constantly putting up his Kickstarters. Yeah, I think he puts the one up every couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to this one personally because I supported the first issue. I can't wait to see how this story ends because I am a very big detective guy, and you know, this is all noir and down my alley.
And then we also have our friend Ori Kopan with Yi Sun Shin, issues 1 through 10, a bloody epic historical tragedy that is going to be releasing sometime this month, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? This month?
It should be soon. I think it's coming up next week, I think.
And finally, we have Tragedy from our friend Philip Russert.
Yep, Tragedy, great book, amazing art, beautiful covers. Great story. You know, you guys just have to check this out. I haven't had a chance to read up to farther than I should probably say. It's a great story, and he's written it very well. And dude, these covers that come out of Tragedy are just spectacular. And at the same time, a lot of those artists are our friends who have done covers like Son of Saint, on Vu. So many. John Ottinger, dude, they're just so many people doing amazing art. Support Tragedy because you support more than just the book itself. You support a lot of amazing artists.
Oh, quickly, there's also The Dancer. The Kickstarter for issue 3 started, so that's up.
Dancer issue 3 started. Oh, look, and he did it it's like Doom. He dropped the mic and.
All right, there we go.
Kat is doing her Kickstarter with Dancer. It's an amazing story. It's a great hero's journey. So if you guys haven't had a chance to read it, I got the original, which was in black and white, 1, 2, and 3. And then I went back and I bought the first and second in color. So now here comes number 3 in color. So you can get the full story, which is 1, 2, and 3 in color. And you guys have to check out the story. And again, beautiful art on this.
And odds are there's probably another project that we are currently forgetting. If we are, perdone-moi, pero mite como mucho tenemos aquí.
Biblioteca. That's all I know.
La biblioteca tiene los libros rojos.
Bye. Before I vanish again, goodbye.
Yeah, Tony came back in time to say goodbye. Of course, people, we know what time it is now. Oh, don't forget. Check out Apple Bites every Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, the Written Late Right, which is on 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time every Wednesday. And make sure that you check us out at Geeking Out in Staten Island, which is the con this weekend. Saturday will be the live event. Sunday will be the virtual. So you get a chance to do either one, and that way you can support either way. And if you are at the convention on Saturday, you can find a Sebastian or a Ralph. And if you say hi to us, maybe I'll put you in the trailer.
Wild Sebastian has appeared.
Exactly. And hey, on Saturday, you also have the Pokemon event happening to catch the Community Day. And I want my Kiss Pokemon. So I'm going to be catching Pokemon as I walk through Go Fest. Go Fest. Geeking Out at Staten Island. There you go. I keep trying to say it the other way, the way you guys say it, but I'm going to slaughter that name if I go that direction. GOASI. I know she said it very nicely on Monday, and I was like, "Oh, that's nice." Then I tried saying it, and I was like, "No, never mind."
You're just like me. I butcher. I am known for butchering names. No one will allow me to give myself the name Sebastian, the butcher of names. So if they try to give me another name, I will not neither confirm or deny that they're going to give me this name going forward. But yes, I still do prefer Sebastian, butcher of names, because I have butchered so many names of Game of Thrones characters.
And I feel you. And people always ask me, "Oh, Ralph, you saw this show? What did you think of it?" And then they like expect me to just to tell them characters of the show, and I'm like, "So the guy that did the thing with the guy that did the other thing, those guys in the other thing, Ralph, you watch the show all the time. Why don't you know the characters?" Like, I can't remember my name sometimes.
You know how much stuff goes up here. There's so many characters,
especially as a writer. All right, people, there you have it. This has been the Written Writ Late Right, and I'll do what I always do. I'll press